will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
Hi, Mario. Hi, Princess, and hi, Syria. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful. So, what question do we have today? Let's start with today's session.
Perfect. So for our first featured question, what is the qualitative difference between a feature article in a top trade publication and a short mention in an online blog? How does USIS judge the significance of media coverage?
See, let's understand first, and I think it's a very incisive question. I would say that it's a very, very incisive question. When we talk of media, let's understand media has to be a media. How you define media? Well, number one is it has an editorial function. So if you write something or somebody is writing something, it is not just an ad hoc where anybody can correct or edit it. It is a function of there is a proper program of what in a media called as journalism, that somebody has to write, learns how to write, how to present views. It could be an editor. It has an editorial board. It has a review. It has any media company would have reporters, would have editors, would have journalists working for them. That's the first thing that is there. Then comes the second, the scope of it actually. So the first is relevant. Second is the scope of the whole media. Now, what do you mean by scope? It means that, okay, how big it is, what is the outreach, who is the audience, that is the scope. And third is most important is medium. It's whether it is online or print or electron or kind of online or something or television or something like that. Okay. So is it an audio, video or writing or everything is there? It could be radio also for that matter in that sense. So media is a function of all these things. So now the relevance is established by the depth. Okay, is it general? If it is not from a media company, then it is not a media. Are we clear on this? So online blog is you are writing it or somebody else is writing it. So let's say, for example, if an article about Mario is published in a New York Times versus Syria writing it on her blog, the relevance is established by the fact that New York Times is a media company. Then second thing, there is another parameter for media company is, remember one thing, people advertise on media. People very rarely would advertise on blogs. So that's another aspect that we have to do. And specifically, USCIS has on various RFEs and NOIDs, which we have seen recently, do mention that, that any online media, even for that matter, Wikipedia, let's say, for example, it is not a media. Even if it is published, it's not about the views, it's about the relevance. Okay, and the credibility. So remember one thing, and we are going back to three things. For USCIS to weigh any evidence, it's credibility, relevance, and that in total gives a probative value actually. So if you are able to create these three things, so this is how USCIS would judge significance of that media. I hope that answers the question, friends. And another thing that I would like to add here is, you don't have to necessarily go for media if your field of expertise doesn't warrant it. For example, I would just give an illustration of a gentleman called Dr. Rao. He has been a great statistician in the US. In 1960s, he won, in fact, a very famous, a very, very national award in India called as Padma Vibhushan. He came to the US, he kind of was a professor of statistics and was working till the age 102. Now, you won't see him in the mainstream media. Please understand that actually. Okay? You won't see him there actually. So, but his work is important. Like there is something called as a Rao-Blackwell theorem. So, a person like him, if you are of a caliber of Dr. Rao, and if you were to apply for EB1A, you don't have to be in the media then in that case. The media is relevant only if the top person in your field, let us say somebody who has arrived, how would he look like, and you have to kind of match that person if you are in the top 1% or 10% in the field. That is the evaluation USCIS is trying to do. And remember one thing, these criterias are mentioned, they are only tools or lenses to look at you. Many of us would not have even heard of Dr. Rao. But a person, he is also a person who got President's Medal in the US. Now it is the highest civilian award that somebody can earn. So person of that. So it all depends on what you have done in your field of expertise and how relevant it is, and that you will continue in the field. That's the only 3 reasons why you get your EB1A, not because you have appeared in the media or you have done some judging ad hoc and all unstructured way of doing. That would be very unstructured way of doing things. Okay. So let's move to the next question, guys.
Yes, certainly. So the next question is from an anonymous user. They ask, if my awards are not internationally recognized, how can I present them in a way that still strengthens my petition? Or would it be better to leave them out of the final merits?
Okay, I think people are again looking at, I think one of the biggest mistakes people are doing is that now final merit, they're looking at another criteria actually. It is not really a criteria, it is a summation of all the things put together. So there are 3 different words: sustained acclaim, totality, and final merit determination. Now remember, final merit determinations come from a case called Kazarian. It's basically a thing to check whether the person has reached to the level of excellence. What a person, in that field of expertise. Totality is with reference to solely because of evidences, and sustained acclaim is essentially a thing of people perceive it as a matter of temporal acclaim, in a sense that what time have been doing, what is the intensity of the work, and how much time, what it takes to become that expert. For example, if you have even been a rocket science expert, it take years to become that kind of an expert actually. So even that would be good enough. It doesn't matter that you have been a rocket scientist for 10 years for that matter. Coming back to this specific question, that the awards are internationally recognized, then I think I would not like to go for an award, or I would not recommend to our students to go for this award, but rather I would say that for what you got the award, let's say you got an award for a specific work in your company by an industry recognized, that it may not be very big. Let us say I got an award from a state association. I'm based in Arizona. I get an award for something in my company for doing some excellent work or a project. Mm-hmm. And if I get that award, and if you are mentioning that in the critical role, do mention that in the critical role. It will strengthen and give you a recognition of your work that you have done. If you got an award for an article, showcase that award for that article when you write about that article in that particular criteria. If you got it because of some patent or original contribution, show that in the original contribution. You don't have to do it. Directly not using it may not be wise way to look at things. And directly putting it into final merit does not make any sense without actually incorporating it for the purpose for which you got it. But this also helps to build up a consistency, because you are not kind of diverting from here and there actually. Okay, so let's move to the next question, guys.
Yes, another aspirant asked, how do you ensure accountability and momentum for students so the process doesn't stall halfway through in the next league program?
I love that question actually. Now there are 2 ways to look at it. Remember one thing that we can, there are 2 words here actually typically, it's very important for everybody who is watching, kind of thing. This session is important that there are 2 words called inspiration and motivation. Okay. Remember one thing, our job is to motivate you. Okay, if somebody joins the program, our job, but we cannot motivate you if you are not inspired to do something. So in that sense, inspiration is something internal that you need to do. And motivation is something that is externally you can seek. Now, I can understand at times every day is not the same. Okay, to do certain things, things change. We don't want to do certain things. We do want to take a break at times. We just want to get tired. And, being a part of the community, when you see other people in the program, you are connected to everybody, that keeps you motivated. Okay. That is something that is, But remember one thing, then second part is that you have one-on-one coaching, you have to attend. Definitely we like to be in touch with you. We have done a study also, some experts have done a study on emotional resilience on all the students. We do kind of capture it every month, in a sense that where on the there we have certain parameters, a proprietary way of assessing every student who joins the program, and what are his kind of emotional resilience levels over a period of time actually. And there is certain pattern of success that we have seen. And of course, a lot depends on your personal trait and your own inspirational reason why you are doing that, why you want a green card. If you are applying running, because remember one thing, next league program, we always suggest that if you don't want to do any work, this is not a done for you service. You have to work yourself. You have to climb the mountain yourself. You go to a coach to learn mountaineering, you have to learn to climb Mount Everest. Remember, you have to do it yourself. There will be a lot of days wherein things will not go according to your plan. Plans fail. Okay, then how do you do it? Do you have a structured process to accommodate that? Definitely will be there to help you. Remember, this program is not just for EB1A, kind of some visa or something like this. This is more of a transformation coaching program. The idea is to put you on a success path wherein, to help you become the best version of yourself, where EB1A becomes a milestone for you. And we apply certain psychological tools over a period. We apply certain, emotional resilience tools to help you, keep you motivated. But remember, you have to be inspired first at your level. Now, this inspiration could come from a frustration that you are having. You lost a job, where you realize that every day you not doing anything is costing you much more than the frustration. Okay, now let's say, for example, your son is turning 20 or 18 and 21. You really need it, otherwise he will have to go through the visa ordeal. That could be your inspiration to do things. You could, you are not able to travel. There was one particular gentleman in our program. His roommate, actually, he couldn't travel in spite of the fact that his father had expired, and he could not even attend the father's cremation because of, that student's friend actually. And he told me about it the day one. He dreaded a day where he could get into a similar situation. So that possibly became his kind of an inspiration to make sure. Some people lost jobs and they could not, some companies, or they lost good opportunities, let's put it that way. So they could not get it because they did not have a visa. So they realized that, if they got a visa, for every year was costing $50,000 to $60,000 least, and at least in terms of potential, at least $100,000 every year. Now, it's always understand, my motivation, my concept is very clear. If the cost of not doing things, is less than keeping yourself frustration and anguish, keep that. But then don't crib. Give allowance to yourself, and if you feel it is not worth anything. So that's the reason that, we don't go for, especially when it comes to fitness coaching, for example. I was talking to one of the leading fitness coaches. He says that everybody knows that if you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and take a walk or take a run, very rarely you will have a health problems. But why don't we do it? Why New Year resolutions would not work? Why would we eat food which may not be always good for us? Because we are not inspired enough to take action for that. The moment when you realize that it is a matter of life and death for us, possibly we would be. So our job is to keep you understand your inspiration and then keep you motivated. But if you are not inspired, we can't do anything in that case. So I hope that answers the question. We can go on this, because this particular topic is very dear to me, and I really like talking and keeping our students motivated. But yes, for that you need to be inspired. And if anybody who is listening to this wants to kind of join the program and keep motivated. And I also feel that there's a big community that is also helping you get connected to EB1 achievers. We have almost 50 now. After having kind of studied over 1,000 cases, at least studying meeting at least 100 achievers, EB1 achievers, 50 are from our own program, there is definitely a certain pattern. And one of the key reasons that people who got it, some people even got it in 6 to 8 months. Some people got 8 to 12 months, and some people have taken longer time. And one of the key reasons is they were inherently very inspired to do things. Some sought external motivation, and some we had to motivate. I can tell you that much, so that you don't give up. I hope that answers the question, and let's move to the next, guys.
Great. So for the next question, if someone has already received an RFE or denial, how can your program help rebuild their case differently?
You see, we have 97% success rate for the people who have followed our pattern. Okay, we did get one of the students did get annoyed, and recently, and we helped last month only we got an approval for that. But remember one thing, these things are like, it also depends on what have you submitted and what stage you are coming to us. Sometimes RFE is just a matter of seeking some information that, oh, you have not given W2, you have not given that. Or is it something much deeper? When you read the RFE, you actually come to know there cannot be a generic answer for this. I don't want to, sometimes they might have made up their mind. This particular NOID, I think one of the things I want to share that I think there was a small tweak that was required in the entire petition, but original petition that went with the attorney was around 400 to 500 pages. But when we sent a response, it was running over 5,000 pages. Now, there were a lot of things that we had to incorporate as evidences that we definitely were able to help this person. But if somebody comes with we have had people coming down to us who got even 8 criteria approved and got rejected as NOIDs. People who got even 2 criteria approved got RFEs and denials. Now, sometimes they have not responded. But my basic thing would be, if you come, I think it's a lot of unlearning also required at the same time. It's not easy for us to kind of, just you come, there is an RFE, there is some kind of a magic wand we have. No, we don't have a magic wand because a lot depends on what you have submitted. This particular person was already in our program before. In 23, he had joined. In 24, till 24 mid or end, he was there with us. Then he kind of was working with some external lawyer. He got his NOID. He came back to us. But 50% of the things that were already done according to the program, what we had kind of prescribed, there were something that we could tweak it. But this may not be necessary because we had person working with Amazon, Meta, drawing a $1 million salary, yet getting rejected with 3 to 4 criteria, getting approved, getting RFE 3 times he had got, but he had to go through the entire program because he had got consistently, he was getting RFEs and NOID, and when he kind of got it, he got it in just 3 days, approval came in. So it all depends on case-to-case basis, guys. I mean, if you have something, if you were looking for EB1A, we would always suggest, we are not, we don't want to qualify as we can overturn something that has happened because we don't know what has gone actually and what evidences. You can't undo what has been already done, but we can always see and then evaluate on a case-to-case basis. And second point, just remember that this program is not a legal service. We are Next League Executive Board LLC is a law firm approved by Arizona Supreme Court. We do have 97% success rate. We have helped over 50 people, but that is only for the people who have gone through the program. So otherwise, I think the best is if you are looking only for an RFE service or NOID responses, I think the best is to go to a qualified attorney. There are many of them, and I'm sure if it is a matter of only tweaking, you could seek that support and all actually. Okay, so let's take the next question, guys.
Absolutely. So our next question is from an anonymous user. They say, I'm not sure where to start with my letter of recommendations. What are the best ways to highlight peer recognition or contributions to my industry beyond my immediate company?
I think it's a very, very, very big question. Actually, this is not something, because definitely if you're working for an employer, that is not the scope of your work should extend beyond your organization. And I don't know what work we are talking about. I do not know what is your field of expertise. I do not know what criteria are strong and what exactly is the metrics for the success of the work that you are qualifying for. So guys, I have no idea how to respond, but I can give you with some assumptions. I can tell you let's say, for example, you have a patent for the company. Now, what is the commercialization of the patent? How would somebody external look at this? So it all, then you have to get it. Is it a letter of recommendation you are talking about? For what criteria? Are we talking about a critical role? What I see is that what you are trying to seek is something beyond. Possibly you are seeing something which is what you are actually talking about is an expert opinion letter. Actually, you are not talking about recommendation letter. But yes, we have a certain frameworks and we have a certain structure. For expert opinion letters, there would be, for example, if it is a patent, then we have a patent evaluation framework. We have certain, there is an article in Forbes also that we have written in terms of something called as Mudholkar mastery matrix and Mudholkar originality matrix. There are two different articles. So we use, kind of a Fisher's rule. We use something called as Fields model. There is a Turing model. So there are certain frameworks that we are trying to incorporate to help you position your work as truly extraordinary. You see, I think that one of the things that I'm trying to do, why do we use frameworks, is finally we need to quantify certain work that you have done. The impact needs to get quantified. So we use those frameworks and they have to be represented in form of expert opinions. So if you want to learn more about it, if you want to join the Next League program, reach out to Syria, Princess or Mario. We'll be more than happy to help you. And we will take it from there. And so, guys, let's take the last question now.
Absolutely. So the next question is, hello, Ranjeet. I have been speaking with Mario and I have a question. How do you help structure a narrative that connects an individual achievement directly to USCIS criteria, not just listing accomplishments, but showing impact, significance, and leadership?
A beautiful question, actually. First thing first, we are not connecting to the criteria. You don't get EB1A because you have fulfilled the criteria. I think just now I mentioned that we got people even with 8 criteria approved and still getting rejected. Okay, now you have to prove 3 things. Remember that I always have been saying in every session to every student. The first is that you are an expert. Okay, and you have risen to the top 1% or 10% of your field of expertise. That's the thing that you need to prove, number 1. Number 2, your expertise and your work is beneficial to the US. And third is that you will continue in the field of endeavor. Now, these are the 3 things that you need to prove. Based on your initiatives, you prove these 3 things. Okay? And you use criteria as a lens to prove these 3 things. Remember, it's like I always give an example that let's imagine that you are holding a kind of magnifying glass that we used to do as a children under a sunlight. And you put a paper down there, and if you put the right focus, the paper would burn. Now, exactly what we are doing, that paper is the 3 criteria. Okay? The lens is the 3 criteria in a sense, not those 3 criteria that you have to fulfill out of 10. 3 elements or 3 purposes for which you do, which said you have been an expert on, you need to benefit to the US and your continuity. That thing I'm talking about. Those lens is those 10 criteria. And in your entire work is like your sunlight. So you are holding those criteria to focus on those 3 criteria so that it kind of converges. The right word is converges. So we don't kind of focus on those criteria. Please understand that. You could just meet 3 criteria, and that is why there was a question initially, how do I prove my award? Now if the award is not, okay, I may got an award from let's say an industry association of, I'm in automobile field, and if I get an award for Automobile Association of Arizona, let's say that. Let's say I'm into tire manufacturing. So I'm a chemical engineer or some engineer with a big tire making tires. My tire got a best design award from Arizona Automobile Association. Now that may not be a national award, but that award could potentially be, let's say, for a critical role in a company, in my organization that I'm working. Now, the fact is I created a tire which sold X amount of units that resulted in Y amount of dollars and which gave me that award. Now, these 3 things combined, do they show that I'm an expert and US will benefit out of it? That's the point I'm trying to tell you. So we try to create a narrative. And I would just like to add before we conclude on this question and today's session is we have seen people, especially with 5 years experience, 8 years experience, 10 years or more. Suppose you are drawing X amount of salary. Remember, we like to just from a visualization perspective, just visualize your average salary over the years and bring it down to present value. So we always take people with a minimum of 150K. Assuming that you are getting 150K as of today, it means that, and you have, let's say, 10 years experience. So it means that on an average, hypothetically, on the present value, you got around 110 or on a lower side, let's say $100,000 salary as on today's value. It means that you have, in your 10 years experience, got possibly $1 million. Now remember one thing, if you are being paid X amount of salary, the return that is expected out of you is at least 20x or 25x. Nobody is going to kind of pay you if you are not giving 20-25x, especially if you are considering yourself to be extraordinary at least. So you have that 25x. It means that you have already produced an impact of that 25 million. Now, what is that 25 million? We use these criteria as a lens to look at you. Now, if you look at your work from the lens of the criteria, you have already produced, and we have seen people in the program that some of them have even produced $500 million impacts because they created some app which had a valuation itself of $100 million. They did something saving because their one simple work saved something. So impact is more important. We don't focus on criteria, we focus on impact. This is what I'm trying to tell you. So if you think this is the approach you want to go, and we have seen that this has consistently worked, and that's the reason we have this 97% success rate. Arizona Supreme Court has kind of given us a license to work as an integrated coaching and legal services firm. Now, if you kind of follow this in a religious manner, let's put it that way, then you will achieve success rather than trying to do some quick fixes things. If you're looking for something, a quick fixes thing, then this is definitely not the place for you. As I said, this is a transformation coaching program that puts you on a success path, helps you become the best version of yourself so that you can kind of, where EB1A should be a milestone and you should continue your journey much beyond this EB1A. That's the whole idea and theme about the Next Leap program. And only if this resonates with you, if you want to become the best version, and many students we have seen while they have been in the program, they got their promotions, they got better career opportunities, they got high salary raise. The highest that we have seen is 3 times the salary while somebody being in the program even before they got their EB1A. So this will be the best investment that you make in your career. This will be the best kind of growth potential that you will be embarking on this path. So if you are interested, friends, so reach out to Syria, Princess, or Mario, or I. We'll be more than happy to help you. So wish you all the best and have a wonderful Saturday, friends. And thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any further questions or need personalized guidance, please reach out to us. We are here to help you every step of the way in your journey towards achieving your American dream. Let's connect and make it happen together.